So around 8 months ago, I started an AI agency. I had bought Wyatt Roderick and Carson Reed's AI agency course. I made a video on it explaining my time there and if I would recommend that you guys go into it as well. But I started this around 8 months ago, and I made like a journey update, a review for last month for month 7, and so I'm going to be giving my eighth month review right now. So it's actually November 17th as I'm recording this, so I'm like 17 days late. I started this March 1st, I believe, was when I started. So I just actually got back from Miami. I was on a cruise for like 10 days. That's why I'm making this a little bit late. But I wanted to give my journey update and my review of what's happened in this past month. So last month, I highlighted that I started a new partnership with someone that I met actually in the mastermind. It was funny because, well, not really funny, but I was asking him to practice sales with me, and we just ended up just kind of working together. He has the time. I work a job. If you guys are new to my channel, I work, 45, sometimes 60-hour job, work in the trades to supplement for the money on this business. At the end of the day, the business, and to make enough money with the business to quit my job is number one. But we ended up getting together and working together. Now, last month, we had started this, and we were just starting our own, like a combined agency together. So we were running ads and we were getting results, but these results weren't turning up. So we were getting like 7 calls a week. Like we were easily getting 1 book call a day. The ads we were running were very good quality ads, but our show up rates and our quality was terrible. We went 0 for 13, I believe, on calls, like for show ups. And then the first guy that we had show up, our 14th guy, he was drunk out of his mind and he was not our ideal prospect at all. So in this past month and working up to it, a big thing that we've been focusing on and a big thing that we're currently focusing on is our sales process side of this. So the whole sales process, if I could, just give a gist idea of this. And if you guys are watching, you guys probably have a good idea on this too. But it goes from ad to funnel to book call to pre-call video. We don't run a VSL, but to pre-call video, to all of our reminders and our emails, our discoveries, our confirmations, up until they go onto the call where we hopefully close them. So I'm a little bit sick right now too. I got sick on the plane back from Miami. But as of right now, November 17th, we don't have our first paying client yet. Now, in the past month, we've had a ton of progress on improving our sales side to get those high quality people, not just to show up to the call, but to actually have them, high quality, right? So within that, one of our biggest issues right off the hop that we could see tangibly. So one example of something that we changed was our funnel. Now, at the end of the day, it's a little bit harder to tell that our funnel wasn't working compared to, let's say, somebody not watching our pre-call video. So the first thing that we focused on was changing our pre-call video, like our thank you video, so that people would be educated when they hopped onto our call. Now, this was a huge issue for us because after we started to increase our sales side and learn the certain things that you had to do to make sure that these people showed up, we were at like a 50% show up rate. So, industry average at the end of the day, I don't want to be industry average, right? Me and my partner, we want to have the highest thing possible, the best agency possible, not just for client acquisition too, but obviously for fulfillment, right? Because if you can't fulfill, then you're going to go nowhere. But anyways, so the biggest issue that we had was that nobody of the people that were showing up was watching our pre-call video. Now, the pre-call video is very important, right? Because then people have an idea. People watch something so they have something to lose if they don't show up to the call. That's huge. So we ended up changing it, and we ended up changing the process within it to make sure that these people were watching all of these so that when they showed up to the call, they were actually qualified. So that was the biggest thing that we changed from then on. And it was everything else that accompanied that sales process that we were also working on. So the funnel we did end up changing. We got some advice from some people that are, kind of semi-consulting us. And we ended up switching up our funnel. And so far, we've had very good results, right? This was around 2 weeks ago, we switched it up. And we're actually 4 for 4 today. So 4 people who have opted into our funnel have all book calls, which is awesome, right? But that's how that's working. Another thing too is our reminders and our confirmation calls, all of that. We're really doubling down and finding the best practices within that, as well as giving it our 110% when it comes to us calling them, us confirming them, us just nurturing these leads as much as possible so that they actually show up to the call. Not only do they just show up, but they've watched the pre-call video, they understand everything, and they're high quality leads. So that's a big thing that we've been working on in the past month. Another thing we've been working on is our sales. So our sales has been huge. Now, before I go into what we've been doing with our sales, we've had 2 leads. We've had 2 people who we hopped on calls with that we could have closed and we should have closed, but we didn't because of lack of experience. So the first guy we had, and I don't believe this was in last month's video. I know one of the guys for sure wasn't, but one of the guys we had, he said he was going to go forward. He said, yeah, just send me over the contract. I'll send payment. Me and my boy didn't know, like we knew, but we didn't understand the importance of getting them to pay on the call, right? Or just getting them to do it on our schedule, not on theirs, because people, they have a whole bunch of other stuff going on, right? Like chances are they're not going to do the things on their own time, especially when there's no urgency for them, right? Like we've done all of this, all of that. But we had one guy that he said, yeah, I'm going to sign the contract, going to send the money over. We're like, okay, yeah, perfect. Just do that. We ended the call. We sent him over the contract and nothing, crickets, right? He still was contacting us and like, yep, I'll do it the week after. I'll do it the week after I get paid on Friday. And this has been, probably 3-4 weeks. And unfortunately, he has not done anything, right? He said he would, but at the end of the day, you just can't trust leads like that. So, and I'm not saying that this guy's a bad guy. It's just how leads are. And that's an issue on our side too, because we can't portray that value, right? We don't have the sales experience to close this person that we knew that we could have closed. Now, the second guy, and this was a huge lack of experience from my end and from my boy's end. Everything was going really well. The call was going well. He watched the pre-call video, so he was very qualified. He understood what was going on. And when we went to pricing, he said that he wanted to do more of like a partnership thing, which is fine, right? If we steered it with our sales ability, we probably could have got something down. But my boy and I ended up objection handling with the guy for like 45 minutes, just straight objection handling. And my boy, and I'm not blaming my boy at all, but this is just what happened. I want to share exactly what happened and the lessons that I learned from it. So he ended up really hounding the lead that we were on call with to basically put something down. Now that's fine, but after 45 minutes, it was getting very repetitive. Now my boy kept doing this because the deal that he was going to go for is he said he was going to put $1,000 down. He's going to pay for all of our costs, and then it's going to be like a rev share model. So he'll pay for ad spend, and any jobs that we get him, we're going to get a percentage of that. I believe we negotiated it's like 3% per job. So anyways, from that, my boy didn't want to do that. He kept saying like, yeah, I just want to understand why you're doing this. I just want to understand why you're not why you're not comfortable doing this. And the reason he did this was because he didn't want the lead that we were on to, sign everything. We do this whole thing. We get them a job, then he ghosts us, right? We get him a $50,000 job, then he ghosts us, which was a valid concern. Now, he didn't tell the guy this, nor did he tell me this. And that was probably our first mistake, because if we would have told him, this guy was awesome. Like this guy was, if you're watching this, man, you were an awesome person to talk to. But my boy didn't tell him that. And I think he was very confused, and we lost a lot of trust within that. Now, afterwards, it was 11 o'clock. So he was like, okay, yeah, let's just revisit this tomorrow. We've kind of known at this point that if we reschedule a lead, they're probably not going to show up. But we regrettably did it, and sure enough, he didn't show up. Excuse after excuse. We rescheduled him 10 times, and he just didn't end up showing up. Now, this was a really big learning curve for me and my boy, because one, we didn't have any clients. So it didn't matter that we were, not getting the full amount that we were going to get with the partnership. We were going to get them. But with the $1,000 down, that would have been money, and it would have been a rev share with a testimonial and experience. I was talking to some of my other boys who are big in the space. It was a big thing, right? Huge thing that they talked about when we didn't get through to that. So that was a huge learning experience for us, which we didn't close. Now that's all right. But off of that, we learned two things. One of them is that no matter how small the job is that comes in next, we are going to close it. It doesn't matter if we get nothing up front. If we can get that experience, that testimonial, and furthermore, right, even on a rev share model, if we generate results, we are going to get paid. So that's a big thing that we're going to do. And the second thing was more sales experience. So the more sales experience that is needed to close these deals, we know that we needed to do. And this stems off of this book right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. The One Thing by Gary Keller. Basically, he talks about, he doesn't talk about this, but we live in a world of specialization, right? Like, you can't be a jack of all trades and make a fortune. You have to be extremely good at one thing. That is the quickest way to wealth. Now, in Gary Keller's, he talks about knock over that one domino and then everything else will follow. For me and my boy, we thought and we came to realize that this domino was our sales ability. We're getting people on these calls, but we're not closing them. Now, if we had better sales experience and we could close these deals, everything would fall afterwards. So a big change that my boy and I have had in this is that we're starting our days off 4 hours. So 4 straight hours as soon as we wake up, straight into sales, straight into just learning sales, discovery call, sales process, everything like that to convert these leads. We're doing very good on our ads. We just launched a new campaign. We had a 25% CTR, 25% click-through rate, which is very good. But that's what we're focusing on as of right now, and that's currently where we stand. Now, as of leads, we do have one guy that said we're going to do a performance-based partnership with. He just texted us, a couple hours ago that he has to reschedule our onboarding call, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. Another thing, I've gotten used to the failure, and failure is a terrible word for this. We don't have a word in English that doesn't just say failure, right? This isn't failure. This is experience. This is, life experience from what we're getting, but I'm not expecting anything as of now. My standards are low so that I'm not disappointed anymore. I'm not saying this in a way where, I just can't take it anymore, but just what's the point in saying that, yeah, this guy's going to close when realistically he's not, right? We're just going to prepare for that in case of them have us best prepared to intercept that as it comes across. But all in all, that's pretty much how our 8-month is going. We're getting a ton of results with leads showing up. We just got to convert them now. And that comes down to our sales ability and making sure that they're as qualified as possible. So that's really what we've been working on. Super excited for these next few months and for 2026 to come along. Truly do think that, we can still hit that 10K per month before the end of 2026. That's been my goal ever since the beginning of 2025, right? I made like an affirmation January 1st. That was my goal, 10K per month before the end of 2025. And I truly do think I can still achieve that. So that's everything. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I do more daily updates on my AI agency. This is like a monthly update. And then plus, other things that I talk about in more of a long form. But on my Instagram, it's short form every single day how I'm doing that. So thank you guys for watching. Follow and subscribe to follow my journey for more. Gonna get that first deal very, very, very soon on this agency. I've gotten deals before, but nothing with this high structure, nothing with this high a foundation. And I'm looking very forward to it. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And above all, stay wise.